A scorching sun blazes over a drought-stricken land, where cracks in the earth tell a story of suffering. In the small town of Zarephath, a poor widow stands before her humble home, clutching a few sticks. Her eyes reveal deep worry. Her pantry holds only a handful of flour and a small jar of oil. This widow and her young son face a terrifying reality: one final meal before starvation. Meanwhile, the prophet Elijah journeys across the barren land, following God's command. God sends Elijah to Zarephath, promising that a widow there will provide for him. At the city gate, Elijah sees the widow gathering sticks, her face lined with exhaustion. He approaches her kindly and asks, "Please, bring me a little water in a cup." The widow hesitates but turns to fetch the water, though resources are scarce. As she walks away, Elijah calls after her, "Please, bring me a piece of bread in your hand." The widow stops, gripping the sticks tightly, and turns with sorrowful eyes. She replies, "I have only a handful of flour and a little oil, just enough for my son and me to eat and then die." Elijah looks at her with calm assurance and says, "Do not fear." He continues, "Go and make me a small cake first, and afterward make some for you and your son." Elijah speaks God's promise. "The jar of flour shall not run dry, and the jug of oil shall not be empty until the Lord sends rain." The widow's heart pounds as she weighs her options. Fear battles faith. She glances toward heaven, silently pleading for strength and guidance. Choosing faith, she gathers her last ingredients and begins to prepare a meal. With trembling hands, she pours the final measure of flour into a bowl. The oil drips slowly from the jar, but she trusts the prophet's words. She forms a small cake and bakes it over a modest fire, offering it first to Elijah. Elijah receives the bread with gratitude, blessing her for her obedience. After serving the prophet, the widow returns to check her jar of flour. To her amazement, the jar is still full, as if untouched. The jug of oil flows freely, fresh and abundant despite the drought. Day after day, the flour and oil never run out, just as God promised. The widow and her son eat daily, their despair replaced by awe and joy. Through her obedience, God transforms a hopeless situation into a living testimony of His provision. The story of the widow of Zarephath teaches that faith unlocks miracles. Even in seasons of famine, trust God in your desperation. He never fails to provide for those who believe.